What's going on, Godzirra Nation? This is Arghgodzirra. At the point of this recording, there is still one game to go for round 10, which means it's time to get our tips in for round 11, because before we know it, that shit's going to be going down. Don't forget, fast-paced action of football over the next 2 weeks, so I'm going to stop wasting your time. Let's get our tips for round 11 underway. As you can see, this week I'm actually sitting pretty sweet. I've got 6 out of 7 so far. The only game I have yet to get a score on is the GWS Essendon game, and I'm still backing GWS for the win. But we've got green ticks all the way around, and I'm not the only one to get the green ticks all this week, because we've got It Is What It Is, Motherfuckers, Matt Lamb 24, myself, Taj River Taylor 1, 2, 3, Judalicious. I don't know. Dylan, if you're watching this, please let me know what the name of your team is. I'd really love to know. It's Arghgodzirra'S something. I'd love to know what you've gone with. But I think up until that point, there is nobody else that has 6. So we have a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams this week in the tipping that can go 7 from 7 perfect rounds, which has really opened things up, because I was 2 tips behind the lead. I'm now only 1 tip behind the lead. And even though El Snoko was 1 tip clear, he's only sitting on 5, which means It Is What It Is, Motherfuckers, Matt Lamb, and El Snoko will all finish this week, provided they went GWS, on top of the ladder. I'm hoping El Snoko went with Essendon because he's a Bomber supporter, and I'm hoping I can sneak up on him as well. But that's all about this week. The video is focusing on next week, or starting tomorrow, that is. Starting off with Port Adelaide taking on Richmond at Adelaide Oval. Everyone would be backing Port Adelaide here. I, however, am confidently locking Richmond in for the win. There is multiple reasons why I do so. Let's turn our attention 12 months ago. Richmond went to Adelaide with a depleted side. No Trent Cotchin. We didn't have Dustin Martin, I don't think, for that game as well. A lot of our stars were out. I don't think Jack Riewoldt played that game either. And yet the young kids stood tall, managed to get the job done. Very similar circumstances to this year. We've had injuries hit, the kids have come in, they've been getting the job done. Richmond have hit their stride. I can't deny the last 2 weeks of football that Richmond have played. Decimated the Bulldogs, decimated Brisbane. The Brisbane game should have been a lot closer purely off of their own boot. If they kicked straight, it would have been a more entertaining game to watch. But I am all but confident my boys can get the job done over Port Adelaide, and in doing so, would further lock in a top 4 finish for the year. If we scalp Port Adelaide, we would have to be outright premiership favourites. I think we're now back in the equation again, but I think if we go back-to-back weeks and take out Brisbane and Port Adelaide, I can then say the boys are back in town, but I've been saying that already, so don't mind me. Saturday is at the Gabba. Brisbane taking on the Bulldogs. I'm going to take Brisbane, regardless of the fact that they couldn't kick straight against Richmond during the week. They are very hard to beat at home. Very hard to beat at home. They're not going to lie down 2 weeks in a row. I vastly this year have enjoyed watching Brisbane play the way they've played more than the Bulldogs have played the way they've played. I think it's just better suited for a Brisbane win. Bulldogs here need to win this game if they want to play finals. I'm making the call. If they win this game, they give themselves all chances of finishing in the top 8. They lose, it's going to be a bit of a scrap. But for me, Brisbane get it done quite comfortably. I didn't do a margin for the Richmond game. I'm going to go 22 points for the Richmond-Port Adelaide game. But on Sunday, we have West Coast and Carlton. And I've said this equation before, and I'm going to tell you the equation again, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm apologising to any of my Carlton supporting fans out there, but Optus Stadium plus West Coast Eagles equals a win. That's the equation I roll with. They are hard to beat at home. They call it the nest for a reason. And West Coast here, I called it a couple of weeks ago, with their run home now to the finals pretty much all being played out of Optus Stadium, they're firming for a top 4 finish. They're going to continue that form. I know they're going to continue that form. Back them in to win quite comfortably against Carlton on Sunday. We then go to Bloodstone. I think it might be the first time Tasmania's had a game this year. I'm not entirely sure on that. But North Melbourne is taking on Melbourne. I really don't understand here why North Melbourne are as heavy favourites as they are. I know there's doubt around Max Gawn not playing this game. He played the last game injured, the one where they won against Adelaide. Probably shouldn't have played that game in all honesty, but everything's pointing to Max Gawn not being in the team this week. I'm going to go North Melbourne for the time being. However, I will make a call right now. If Max Gawn is named to play, I will be changing my tip to Melbourne. Purely because Max Gawn's delivery in the middle to the midfielders will be pivotal in them winning the game. Take him out of the equation, and Melbourne are all but shot. I'm sorry to say it, but without Max Gawn delivering and doing the work he's been doing, Melbourne will fall to shambles. So I am backing North Melbourne at this point, but pending the release of teams, that tip might change. Monday is at the Gabba. Two teams that we normally wouldn't see playing at the Gabba, but it's at the Gabba nonetheless. St Kilda taking on Geelong. I'm going to back Geelong, but I feel this game is more of a 50-50 coin flip this season than would have been a couple of seasons ago. St Kilda currently, I think they're second on the ladder. They are second on the ladder. Who'd have thought 10 rounds deep, St Kilda would be in the top two teams? They have been nothing but impressive. I personally feel, even though Port Adelaide is on top of the ladder, I think Brett Ratton doesn't get the raps as a coach to what he should be. He's probably close, in my eyes, to Coach of the Year. Taking a club that would either just win a game or get absolutely belted to now comfortably playing games every week, nothing but impressive. They could upset Geelong here. I'm not discrediting that at all, but just in my eyes, I think Geelong's too strong of a side for them to beat. But hey, they could prove me wrong. Later that same day, Fremantle is hosting Hawthorn at Optus Stadium. It's another 50-50 game because Fremantle could come out here and they could do some damage. I don't know whether they've been threatening to do some damage. I mean, we have seen them play some decent football up there. In patches. Decent football in patches. Did they play this week? I don't think they did. How did they go the week before? Let's just have a look at the last game they played. For prosperity. Oh, they beat Collingwood. I forgot about that. The upset. The upset of the round that people had tipped. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to lock in Fremantle to beat Hawthorn. Very big call. You've got to roll the dice sometimes with some decisions when it comes to footy tipping. And I think out of all the other games that we have gone through so far, that would probably be the most genuine chance to go. So I'm going to go Fremantle over Hawthorn. Then we go to Adelaide Oval on Tuesday night, where Collingwood will comfortably pick up the win and Adelaide continue a winless run. And I'm not going to continue talking about Adelaide anymore. No, we're not going to do it. That's the end of that game. Final game of the round. Gold Coast taking on Essendon. You know what's really weird? I've pointed it out already this year. What's really weird is the fact that we are getting Gold Coast games now where it should be an easy selection, but they're now really not that easy to choose. I'm going to back the Gold Coast. It is going to be a very close game. It'll be a couple of kicks in it. Essendon are probably going to screw me here, but I'm confident enough to say Gold Coast will get it done. So having a look over my tips for this week, I'm going to go with Richmond, Brisbane, West Coast, North Melbourne, Geelong, Fremantle, Collingwood, and Gold Coast. Let me know in the comment section down below who you think upset of the round and certainty of the round is going to be. I feel certainty of the round, as much as it pains me to say it, West Coast over Carlton. Upset of the round would have to be Adelaide defeating Collingwood. I feel that'd be a huge upset. I also think a huge upset would be... I want to say St Kilda going over Geelong, but that's not really an upset considering how they've been playing. You know what? I'm going to go for the exact same game. West Coast to defeat Carlton is the certainty, but the upset of the round would be the reverse. Carlton knocking off West Coast in West Coast. I think that's a safer bet to run. But that's it for this week's video. When does this video... this ends on Wednesday. So at some point on Wednesday, my tips for round 12 will be ready and released. As I said though, let me know your certainty, your upset of the round. Hopefully you guys tip well this week. Thank you for joining me as always. Hit that like button down below. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. Pledge your allegiance to the Godzirra Nation. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here. Good luck to your teams this weekend. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.